Hello everybody, hi. It's me again with my cards, another little demonstration. One of the most commonly asked questions I have in my work as an intuitive consultant is about love. The vast majority of people who have an intuitive consultation, or whether they go somewhere to a psychic or a fortune teller, they're interested in their love life. And within that sphere, a very common question is my ex going to come back to me? Or will I and my ex reconcile? And so I've got one particular person in mind who has asked this question. So let's have a look. Okay, I know what I will say when I do my tuning in using my intuitive capacity. But let's also see what the cards have to say as well. They won't tell a different story, but it's interesting to see it visually. Okay, so give me a sec. I'm doing my shuffling. Oh, cards have stuck. Okay, so what we're going to do this time is we're going to pick 3 cards, and my finger is going to do the walking and the talking. Right. 1. Let's put it here. 2. 3. I'm going to go for 5 again. 4. 5. Okay, the finger has spoken. My daughters gave me a slave name of Inga, and it's kind of stuck. And so it's called Inga's finger. Right, okay. So let's remember what the question is. I've got a person in mind. None of you know who this person is, so that's okay. And she was asking about love. She was asking whether she would reconcile with her ex. But she also asked, if not, when was she going to meet somebody good looking and well off? Which is something everybody who's single, I would imagine, wants. Let's turn the cards over. The Empress from the Major Arcana. The Ace of Swords from the Minor Arcana, the Lover's card from the Major Arcana, the 7 of Cups from the Minor Arcana, and the 3 of Swords from the Minor Arcana. So the Empress, the Earth Mother of the deck. Now, I always say each reader, each consultant will have their own relationship with their own cards. And it isn't a one-size-fits-all, and we will have our own individual meanings for our cards. And so the Empress, for me, she's the Earth Mother of the deck, and she can represent fertility and motherhood and nurturing. And so this lady that we're talking about, she is very, very keen indeed to be settled down. She's very keen. She feels that she's running out of time. And so it isn't just about getting into a committed relationship, for want of a better term. It's also about, producing a family, having a family. Now, the Ace of Swords to me, although you can see the word on the card is energy, the arrow is the sword is pointing earthwards. This card has always meant to me fear, energy running earthwards. And so she's afraid. She's afraid that she's running out of time. And, she's afraid, as people often are, that she's never going to meet anybody, never going to settle down, which is very unlikely. Now we have number 6, the Lover's card from the Major Arcana. And you might think, oh, well, it's self-explanatory. It's all about love and relationships, but not always. It's about choices as well. And when you're reading your cards, sometimes your eyes can be drawn to something that you don't normally focus on. But what she's looking for here is she's looking for the blessing. This is her individual story, not everybody's. This card, dependent on which of the cards it's with and who it's for, it's not going to tell the same story. And so she wants the blessing of people. Now, this particular lady is from a culture that is particularly keen on the daughters and sons being married, especially obviously, it's going to be daughters and sons that they're going to worry about, but it's more particular that their daughters find a good husband. So there's a cultural pressure there. And I'm not saying anything about that. I've got no opinion on it. I'm just explaining the story. So she wants approval, and she wants somebody who really wants her. And so she wants approval from others, maybe her parents, society. And then she wants a person who adores her and really wants her. And nobody can blame her, can they? Nobody can blame her for that. And the Seven of Cups, the word on the card is imagination. And so she's letting her mind run riot at times. And it's all she's thinking about. She's spending most of her waking day thinking about when she's going to meet somebody, when a situation is going to work out. And this is going on in her head. So a lot of people won't be aware of that. But that's the subject that's that her favorite, and has been for a little while. And the Three of Swords, enterprise. I beg your pardon, the Three of Wands, enterprise. And it's really about blazing that trail. So it's a task to her. She's seeing it as a task. She's seeing it as a goal. It isn't a case of, well, I'm just going along, and if I meet somebody, I'll meet somebody. If I don't, I don't. It's a job for her. It's a goal. It's an aim. It's something that she has to accomplish. So that's the basic, that's the start off, really, the start off message. But we can delve a little deeper here. And so the problem here is with this particular lady is that she isn't fully developing herself as a human being. And that sounds very harsh, and I'm probably not saying it in the right way. But her belief is that what she needs in her life is a relationship. And once she has that, then, everything will be all right. And I'm not saying that that's not true. We humans are pack animals. We want to be in relationships. We want to be together. There's nothing wrong with that. But she's fearing that she herself won't be worthy. She herself won't be whole. Can't have a decent life if she doesn't meet somebody. And so she's imagining this person, and he's got to be, for this particular lady, he's got to be something special. He's got to be, I know because she's told me this, he's got to be good looking. He's got to be, well off financially. But I know that again is not really specifically what she means, but he's got to be deemed a good catch by those around her. And underpinning everything, and the whole story could come across as a little shallow, but underpinning everything is this fear. And so my advice to her was to step back a little bit, not give up on the idea of meeting somebody. Now let's go back to the ex. The ex is not likely to be a part of the future. There are different reasons for that. And at one time it looked like they might, go ahead into a marriage, but then there were certain reasons why then it wasn't going to happen. And so now she's kind of left between two stools, because before she thought, okay, I'm on the pathway, we're going to end up married, everything will be all right. And then that changed. So now she's had to go back to the drawing board and rethink things. And what people tend to do is they tend to look back on what's familiar, what's comfortable to them, even if it wasn't really comfortable, because there's a fear of the great unknown. And this is why a lot of people will ask about exes, even if they haven't been in touch with them for a couple of years. Do you understand? So we're weird psychological creatures, aren't we? And all of us are. And so what we do is we look back and we kind of edit out the reasons that we've become exes in the first place, largely speaking. But it's a shame, because then we're not turning our face to the future, where there is, the unknown. Everything's unknown until we know it. When you're little, everything is unknown. You don't know how to make a cup of tea, tie your shoelaces, nothing. Everything's unknown. And it doesn't change when we become adults. And so she also doesn't know the feeling of being in a relationship that's solid with somebody who really wants her, somebody that she wants to be with and really wants to be with her. So she can only dream about it. She can only dream about this idealistic situation with this perfect person. Do you understand? So the Lover's card here now, we're talking about this wonderful person, this wonderful situation, getting the blessing of the gods. And then from that point onwards, everything moves forward, enterprise. It's all going to move forward along, productive pathways, and she'll be secure. But let's split the deck. Now, one has dropped off the bottom as I'm picking it up, and we have the Hermit card. And it's quite melancholy, isn't it? Because you can understand this. This is about two things. She's looking out over the terrain of her future. I think this is a lady, not being sexist, but I think this is a lady. And she's standing on this mountaintop and she's looking out, into the distance, and it's snowing and it's dark. And the word hermit implies being alone. And the 9 is about death. Well, death and rebirth, change. But also, so there's a mixed message here, really, isn't there? A mixed sort of meaning, which is being on your own, but also giving yourself time and space to look out over your life, to take some breathing space, to be objective. And that is what, following the breakup of that relationship, where it didn't end up going down the pathway she wanted it to go down, she's going to need to take some time and space. But of course, people don't want to do that. We're very needy. We're very needy beings. We human souls. And so she wants, if that's not going to work, then I need something else that is. So she's feeling alone, but it's also good for her in a way, because now she can start to reassess. But my advice to her was as well to think about her own strengths and her own life, her own progression. Not just metaphorically speaking, put all of her eggs in that one basket of having a relationship. What can she do in the meantime? What can she do? What is she doing with her own life? And we'll split the deck again and we get the Magician. And the Magician card is really great for, if, for example, with regards to work and business and new beginnings, new ideas. So I really like this card. And it shows that she's got more tricks in her box, again, metaphorically speaking, than she might imagine. And so if you think about this, we're always attracting and we're always repelling in life. We don't know that we are. Attract, repel, energetically speaking. And so we can look at the situations that we attract into our life. And I'm really not one of those who believe that everything that happens to you in your life, you've attracted it yourself, good, bad, or indifferent. I've written blog posts on this, something I feel quite strongly about. It isn't true, and it makes people feel really bad about themselves, and it puts a lot of pressure on people. It's one of the several downsides to the so-called spiritual world, if you like, the spiritual psychic arena. But I've rambled on there and I've gone off track a little bit. So we're talking about attracting and repelling. So what is she going to attract given her current mindset? So is this wonderful man, a man who is very good looking and he's got loads of money and he's doing really well in life, there's going to be a lot of stiff competition. Now, I'm not saying that, she couldn't compete, but the big question is, what is she bringing to the table herself? And so there's aspects of herself that are really worthy that she's not exploring or developing. She's just putting everything on the back burner until a relationship comes along. And that's a terrible shame. So the her that she can evolve into, and we're always supposed to be evolving every day of our lives up till we take our last breath, then what she's going to want in her life and what she's going to attract is going to be different than this current time. So now if she does A in life, A will happen, and if she does B, B will happen. So she could continue with the mindset that she has, do you understand, and just hope that this God will show up magically to rescue her. Or she can say, okay, well, how far down the pathway is that taking me? Can I rethink things? Can I be more of who I really am? What skills and talents do I have within me? Can I rely on myself more? Can I have faith in myself? Can I have belief in myself? And the answer, let's split the decks, will be yes. Innovation, the King of Wands, handling things differently, looking at things differently, being innovative with what we have. So if we're going to say that she's going to take that stance and she's going to maybe, step outside of her own shadow and maybe think, well, you know what? If Mr. Right isn't on the doorstep right now, what am I going to do in the meantime? And if she decides to take good care of herself and to, believe in herself, then what will happen? Conception. She will see the world in a different way. The King of Pentacles, she will see the world in a different way. And so then what she's seeing and what she's drawing to herself is going to be very different. So there's a strong masculine link here, isn't there? And then we have love. So the love that she's actually looking for. Do you understand? The love that she's actually looking for. So there's effort to be made, isn't there? There's things to think about. Now, I have no illusions about my work. I'll be honest with you, after doing it for 27 years, I know that whatever place a person is in, sometimes they can get stuck in that place at that time, and there's only something they want to hear. There's one thing they want to hear, and if they're not hearing it, they're close to it. But, luckily, with each passing day, we can have new realizations, new aha moments. We can start to see things in a different way. And so there is love out there for this lady, but the kind of love that will work for her. But she's got to kind of find herself, or to strengthen the relationship with herself first. Now, I don't know whether she will or she won't. All I can do is offer my intuitive assessment and, insight. You can offer predictions and you can offer insight. And I often think the insight is maybe more valuable than the predictions. Probably it is. But no, I have no control, and none of us do, over how another person chooses to accept information and what they choose to do about it. So there you go. I thought you might find that interesting. Take care. Bye.